Oh, welcome to my delusion.
You've made it. The world is quiet now, and it's just us.
This is no filter.
Welcome to the
No
Savon
fluff,
Experience
just me
Pillow Talk
in my
Solo
pajamas.
Edition. Your safe space to reflect, exhale, and get real. I'm your host, Savon, and tonight we're diving deep. So get comfortable, take a breath, and let's talk.
Every week I'm pulling up with the real solo. No guests, no edits, just you, me, and the truth. So go ahead, get comfortable. You're tuned in into the Savon Experience. Pillow Talk Solo Edition. Let's talk.
Listen, let me tell you something. Welcome back to the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition. Now, in our previous episodes, before I get started, for those who are part of the members of the Savon Experience on YouTube, our scholars who see the actual video, listen, I told you I was going to work on that doggone intro, and I have. I made it a little bit better, but the AI girl, she look creepy, ain't she? I'm going to have to redo her when I get myself zhuzhed up and just do it myself. But for now, it's just going to have to work. So I hope you guys have had a good week, good midweek, all that good stuff, because we are back. We are back. And on our previous episodes, we've talked about where I've been. We've talked about what I've been going through. We've talked about a relationship shift that I still need to give you part 2 too. We've talked about COVID-19 and the relief that I had or the relief I didn't get. We've talked about matriarchs. We've gone down the road of talking about how our politicians and our government today and the way we live today, how people believe they're good people, but they're really not. And then we segue into grace, grace over gavel, right? We talked about, are we really judgy or are we really giving grace? Then we took that one step further and we talked about how we was protecting our peace, right? And how we don't have to respond to everything. Well, tonight, we're taking it a little bit further, right? Because as I've stated, we've talked about giving grace. We've talked about protecting your peace by choosing silence. But how do you know when to speak, when to pause, and when to walk away with emotional clarity? Tonight we're diving into emotional intelligence, the tool that helps you manage your peace, your voice, and your growth. You got your libation because I have mine. And it's delicious. It's delicious. So y'all ready for a chit chat? Because we're going to get into it. How many of y'all even know what emotional intelligence is? I'm pausing while you gather your thoughts or your answers. I can't hear you, but we're going to give you a pause. Because I feel that in emotional intelligence, that's going to help you understand when and when not to respond, to be able to identify those moments when you need to give grace, right? And when you don't need to give grace, you need to shut the fuck up and stop talking because they don't need your energy, right? So what is emotional intelligence? It's not just being calm. I can tell you that. It's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions as the emotions and the emotions of others as you continue to exchange with people throughout your life. Emotional intelligence isn't softness. And I keep talking about the difference on how we interpret and or perceive softness / strength, or in relation to strength and power. Being able to sit still and be quiet, that's not unintelligent. I mean, that's not soft or weakness. It's intelligence. it's strategy. And along with that strategy, it's power. Think about it. Being able to control the narrative and control what you say and how you respond to someone and not letting them control your reactions, that's true power. Because we all can pop off at the drop of a dime. We all could be like, bitch, fuck you and your mammy too, right? We could all do that. But having the ability to have a step above and be like, you know what, I know that's what they want. I'm not giving that to them. And I also understand that what they're going through by giving them grace may not have anything to do with me. And you also may want to check them. Like, bitch, ain't got shit to do with me, so check who you checking. Having emotional intelligence will help you navigate through those questions. And the more you practice it and do your research, the more you would understand and know when to activate emotional intelligence, to know when to just take your power back and give them silence, or unleash the dragon on that ass. So, in episode 1, when we were talking about giving grace, the emotional intelligence in that episode or in that skill is what you allow yourself to say. This isn't about me. They're reacting from pain, trauma, a bad day, a fucked up boss, a cheating boyfriend, kids done got on your goddamn nerve, anything but logic, right? So emotional intelligence, it gives you the pause between offense and response. That pause, that's everything. That pause is everything. It's everything in that moment. And you're also putting empathy into action. Let's roll that back again, right? It's not just about being calm. It's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence isn't softness. It isn't weakness. It's strategy and it's power. So grace plus emotional intelligence equals empathy in action. This isn't about me. They're reacting from pain. They don't have any logic in this moment. But I'm going to be the one that's going to give the pause between offense and response. And that pause is going to be everything in how this reaction continues, discontinues, land and or end. So hopefully between episodes, you've had the opportunity to exercise giving someone empathy. Exercise taking your power back and just not responding in that moment, especially when you know, some of us know our mouths and know how reckless it can be. So some of us know if we say something, we're going to crack your damn feelings. We're going to hurt your feelings, your ancestors' feelings, your ancestors' feelings, and your future offspring's feelings. Because some of us know our mouths will make a motherfucker want to run us the fuck over in an 18-wheeler. So you know what your power is when you're able to speak and defend yourself. But now let's understand what your power is when you don't do that. And you do understand that it's not about being a punk bitch for some of y'all who don't think that. It's not about being weak. It's not about being simple. It's not about being any of those things. It's about controlling the narrative. Peace plus emotional intelligence. This is choosing stillness with intention, with purpose. In our last episode, we talked about not responding. So emotional intelligence is what helps you choose. This isn't worth my peace. This response isn't worth my time. This drama isn't worth my energy. This person isn't worth my energy. This particular battle is not mine. Or peace plus emotional intelligence could have the opposite effect where you're like, listen, I've tried all these things, and I don't think this person understands nothing but me tearing them the fuck down and checking their asses. And that's what you have to do. Not all silence is emotional intelligence. Okay? But emotional intelligence allows you to choose silence with intention and not avoidance. So it's not those situations where you're avoiding it altogether. That's not the same thing as an emotional intelligent moment. It could be, but it's not the same thing. Because you have to choose that action with intention. I am purposefully not saying anything to you because I know if I do, this is going to land one of three ways. And the first two is not going to be beneficial for either one of us. But the third could most definitely have us walking away in this situation unscathed, unharmed, unimpacted. Lives not really touched negatively. Some people, I have a friend that tells me all the time, listen, I don't like to talk via text. I really want to have a conversation. That way I can understand and hear the tone in which, your response is being delivered. You're able to hear my tone and know exactly how I'm responding to you because, in text, and this is something that's real key that she stated. In text, when we read text messages, we are reading those messages in the spirit, in the attitude, in the mood that we are in that moment. So we can interpret things totally wrong. Right. So she tells me all the time that, no, this needs to be a conversation because she feels she's emotionally intelligent to know that if we don't have this conversation verbally, it could end in frustration, confusion, mess. That was an emotionally intelligent moment for her because it was intentionally thought out what she wanted to do and how she wanted to have that conversation. And the reason why she said that is because we often will read a text and we'll read it with the influx. You ever got a text, it says, girl, what you doing? It could be in responses to like, you said something, you sent a message, I was talking about something, and she's like, she don't understand it. And so she's like, what you doing? And that's how she meant it. But you could have read it like, girl, what is you doing? What the fuck she mean? What am I doing? What you doing? But she could have been like, girl, what you doing? What's up? So oftentimes when we're in text messages, we're sending smiley faces and emojis so that people can understand that this response was lighthearted. It wasn't fueled with anger, but that can also be exhausting, right? So being able to segue and navigate through those conversations and discussions prove you pull out your emotional intelligence from experiences that you've had, right? So when you do that, you're also exercising the power of regulation, either through the conversation or self-regulation, right? You can feel it before it starts happening. Ooh, my throat. I'm about to get me a throat lozenge. One moment. You can feel it in the conversation. You can feel how it's going. Or you can feel your own frustration, your own moodiness, the conflict you have within yourself when you probably know you shouldn't be having a conversation in that moment because you know anything and everything that's been said or will be said will be misconstrued, will be taken incorrectly, right? Identifying that as an emotionally intelligent moment, how you react and what you do with that is an emotionally intelligent reaction and or response or habit change. And that's called self-regulation. You can feel it all, the anger, once again, the frustration, the confusion, but you don't have to react from it or to it. Self-regulation is the grown-up version of power. When you're seeing things on social media and you have those moments, and I'm gonna show you how we tie emotional intelligence into our actions. It's not always the things that we say, but it's also the things that we do. You see something, whether it's funny, whether it's embarrassing for somebody, whether it's political and you don't really see it for what was going on, or the comment that was made, or the view that was given, or whatever it could be. Something you either approve, disapprove of, don't like, don't have a thought, etc., right? But when you choose to make a comment about it, you have to think, okay, this comment that I'm going to make, am I aware of the impact it could have? Am I aware on the type of responses I could get back? We talked about this in our past episode as well, how social media, people do not give grace. They do not extend the opportunity just to be silent. They're not emotionally intelligent because they'll say shit thinking it's going to be cute. It's gonna be funny. The likes and views are gonna go up tremendously. Their comment is gonna go viral, and they feel like the big person on campus. The head chief. Girl, that was funny. Oh my God, they got 3 million likes on that comment, but the comment could have been real fucked up and rude to somebody, right? Did you respond with emotional intelligence? I mean, did you do it to uplift somebody? Did you do it to tear somebody down? I mean, you have to think about how we live in today. In our social trend, people are always so easily to tear somebody down because of the fact that they're not there, they're not present. See, there's something to be said about the fact that you have a distance with this computer, you have distance with social media, you're in your own house, your own place, your own studio. So the things that you say, no one can touch you, no one can say anything to you, so you think it's okay to say some real reckless shit to somebody, but you don't think about what happens if you see them out in public. You don't think about what happens if you just out on a trip in some crazy town and someone sees you that you had an interaction with, or you posted something that you thought was cute, and then they confront you, because not everybody is emotionally intelligent, so they will confront you. So you have to think about how you maneuver in both social media, in the public eye, in your personal space, at your job, etc. So having emotional intelligence simply makes you aware of your actions, your thought, your mood, and the things that you're about to do, things that you're about to say, and how they can have impact on others. And a lot of people are not emotionally intelligent. Some people feel like, oh, I'm just going to say it like it is because I'm a direct communicator, and it is what it is. That might be so, but you're not being aware or cognizant of the audience that's receiving that message, or you just may not give a fuck. To me, that's not emotionally intelligent. That's emotionally reckless. It's reckless. And there is a time and a place for that. And you can create a space to say what you have to say respectfully without having to shit on people's feelings. Right? A lot of times when you're doing that, like I said in my last episode, it's something about you. You feel insecure about something, so you felt like tearing somebody else down made you a bigger person. Well, it didn't. It made you a bigger idiot. That's what it made you. And depending on what your comment was, it could have made you a bigger target. And some people have that fuck around and find out mentality, and they don't give a damn, and they ain't got shit to lose, like I told you, and they don't mind fucking you up or causing some drama in your life when really you can't give it the energy you need to give it, because that drama will impact your life more negatively than theirs because they have nothing to lose. So the power of having emotional intelligence, the ability to stay still in silence when no response is absolutely needed or required, having giving people grace also kind of taps into the power of self-regulation, self-control, understanding cause and effect. It's really simple. It's really so simple when we think about it, right? But when you've not had, like us from the 1900s, we were born in the 1900s, girl, before all the social media and all the electronic devices and texting and all that, honey, you had peer-to-peer, face-to-face interactions, or you was talking to somebody on the landline, on the house phone, but you also know, bitch, if I see you out, I got you. And people were true to their word. I don't know why people don't understand that today when they do reckless shit and thinking nobody's going to be able to touch them. Oh, honey, everybody can touch you. It's possible. It can happen. So you have to think about being emotionally intelligent. Being the bigger person and the better person does not mean it's not equal to being weak. It's not equal to being a punk. It's not equal to any of that. And people who walk around here with these term words like, no, don't be no punk. Don't let them know. No, you real. You from the streets. You from... I'm having an emotionally intelligent moment because I know some people are going to feel attacked with that last comment. That's kind of senseless. You're not thinking that through. You may not be the person to fuck with. That's true. But you got to think about how your actions impact you. Okay? You get to choose the energy you carry. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not at the mercy of other people's behavior. I said that on the last episode. You don't have to be on that emotional roller coaster and be an emotional slave or a slave to someone else's emotions. You don't have to. Listen, I'll hit you back. I'll talk to you in a little bit. I'm busy right now, or just no response, because you're not doing that right now. If someone's going down a path and you're not trying to go there, you do not have to follow them. You do not have to follow them. Emotional intelligence says, this is a quote from my emotional intelligence training, I can be aware, but not absorb. I can understand and not entertain. Emotional intelligence lets you protect your space without building walls. Or you can go ahead and play Build a Bob and go on and build them motherfuckers. That's emotionally intelligent too. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. At all. And y'all know every time we have a conversation, when I'm talking about something, I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to ask you a question to reflect. When was the last time you overreacted out of emotions? Girl, I've done that several times. Divas and Jivas, more times than I'd like to. More times than I'd like to really acknowledge, recognize, or be accountable for. I've done it in the professional space. I've done it in personal space. I've done it, and I could recognize when I shouldn't say anything, and sometimes I just have to. But why did I have to? Because once I've put it out there and said what I had to say, sure, I can go back and apologize, but it's already out there. The damage has been done. They then have the option to either accept my apology or not. Consequences. What does it look like when you self-regulate instead of react? When that last time you overreacted out of emotions, what would that situation have looked like with emotional intelligence? You wouldn't have had to apologize or apologize if you're one of those narcissistic people who just do shit and apologize and think it's all okay. You could stand getting some emotional intelligence training. Um, what does it look like when you self-regulate instead of reacting? How does your peace show up when you protect it with intention? You don't have to have those moments that people cannot erase, that you are not truly forgiven for, even if they say, listen, I get it, I understand, forgiven but not forgotten. Or they understand and say you are forgiven, but they don't forget. Most people still hold it in their reserve because now you've taught them how you respond to things. And what did I say on that last episode? You know, you teach people how to treat you. Now they know how you roll, right? And you can come from that. You can heal from that. But you know, a lot of times people, listen, it takes people a long time to get over things that happen to them, good, bad, and indifferent. And for some people, the only thing they remember are the things that happen to them negatively. They don't remember the thousands and millions of other things that has happened for them, but happened to them negatively. And oftentimes those people respond in a space of, this is always happening to me, right? So they could use, you know, some exposure to being emotionally intelligent because they constantly feel like the victim, right? And I don't know if that constant state of being a victim has anything to do with, you know, them wanting some sort of response out of you. I don't know. I'm still walking through my walk with emotional intelligence and trying to understand people. And I will say, all of the points that I've shared in these videos, baby, I know it can be exhausting activating all of these if and statements and going through all these exercises to understand when you really could just cuss somebody out and be done with it. But at the end of the day, once you do that so many times repetitively, it does have a negative impact on you, your experiences, the way you deal with things, business opportunities, as well as just your life. Just your life as a whole. So, knowing that emotional intelligence isn't perfection, it's practice. It's practice. So, by the time, or this week, whenever you're hearing this episode, practice the pause, continue practicing silence, because it is a response. Like they say, no is an answer. Continue to practice giving grace, right, before judgment. And then practice responding, right? Practice not reacting. I don't know if you're going to have that many opportunities unless you just have a week just full of shit. It could happen. Practice self-awareness. And the best time to practice self-awareness is in the middle of discomfort, because that's when it happens, right? That's when all engines are fully throttled and pushing ahead, and you're just like, oh, I just can't. Oh, I just want to. I know, right? You just want to so bad, but then not do it. Practice doing the opposite of what your instincts tell you to do in that moment. If you've identified that you need to work on emotional intelligence and giving grace. And then give yourself the same grace you're learning to give others. I have said that all the time. You have to give yourself grace. And y'all, I have had to tell myself this all the time because I am the worst critic of myself. I critique myself more than anybody could ever critique myself. I have conversations with myself and I have dialogue where there's scenarios. I do scenario playouts in my head all the time. Girl, if I said this and this bitch said this back to me, this is what I'm going to say to her because, bitch, you got me fucked up. Or I could say this and not do that, but then I'm going to feel this kind of way. It's exhausting, but it keeps you prepared. But when I'm emotionally unintelligent, that's when Shaquansha ass clocks all the way in and just give it to you the way it is. And she too have been working on emotional intelligence. Listen, Shaquansha is the person I've said it, but in the past, and I'll say it again. Shaquansha is the person I grew from, but I also grew to love, and I grew to protect, and I grew to access her when needed. Because sometimes people don't understand nothing but that unintelligent, ungraceful response. Sometimes they get the job done, and emotional intelligence will be able to help you decipher when it's that moment. Right? We're at 30 minutes, so it's almost time to end this. Listen, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for continuing to return, show up, and support. This is something that I feel passionate about. This is something that I feel that my life has been vetted to do with all these experiences and being able to share these experiences with you. So I want to make sure that this version is successful, because it is to empower, it is to help, and it's to also reach people on a level where they can understand it, where there's not all that filtering, all that fluff, all those edits. It just is what it is. Even when I fuck up a word, it is what it is. And if you are a social media icon, stay out the comments. Them hoes is going to have you unintelligent every time. Because, baby, some people, like I said, I've talked about them, they have electronic balls and will try to come for you over the internet because they feel that you don't have access to them. And they want a good ha-ha. They're like the class clown. Let's see how many people I can make laugh. And often they have the most miserable lives. Absolutely miserable. And so they want you to be miserable. Okay? Listen, this has been the Savon Experience Pillow Talk, where we speak from the soul and move with intention. We, meaning Shaquansha and Savon. No, I don't have multiple personality disorder, so get yourself together, okay? You don't have to shrink to be peaceful. You don't have to yell to be powerful. Emotional intelligence is giving yourself permission to move like the healed version of you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay soft, stay Savon.
Come slide into the quiet space where the moonlight touches grace. I'm speaking.
Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Remember, grace isn't just for others, it's for you too. Until next time, this has been the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition. Be kind, be soft, be you.
Let it flow. No mask, no noise, just my truth in the dark. Laid back whispers straight from the heart. Let the world now come and walk this walk. You're deep inside the Savon Experience Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk.